Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another edition of Living World of Darkness, New York by Night. Tonight we find Mitchell, Limey, Rigby walking around the city trying to find other kindred, and is currently walking past the boiler room, also known as the establishment owned by Mr. Peck, the Toreador. And take it away.
Antonio. Yeah. A man who's 50s or so, with gray hair. It's slicked back really nicely. He's wearing a navy blue suit and quite possibly the most pretentious white gloves he could find. Um, he walks out of the bar, or no, restaurant. Forgive me, Mr. Peck. He walks out of the restaurant, um, and
And
he walks out of the restaurant.
please.
And real quick, and quite literally runs into Mr. Rig or Limey as they're walking by. And they
Uh,
just, it,
you
it,
say.
we, yeah, we could say they just actually run into each other.
As he sort of obviously he's looking in the other direction or something, because he bumps straight into a relatively tall man. He's about 6'2". He's quite pale, quite lean, quite a thin guy, but quite handsome. He's wearing a dark brown mohair suit with a black knitted tie and a white shirt that's unbuttoned at the neck. And as he sort of bumps into him, it's Rigby will turn around and say, "Oh, watch where you're going, man."
Much apologies, senor. I was engrossed in my other thoughts. I must apologize. Uh, you must allow me to buy you a drink. I do hate to offend.
Oh, that's alright. No offense taken, man. Just, New York's a busy city. Watch where you step, you know what I mean? Uh, and he looks the man up and down, and seeing the gloves and seeing as he's just walked out of the boiler room, he makes a quick perception roll. Uh, if I can get Dice Stream to start. 2 seconds. Right, there we go. 2, 3, 4. And he rolls the dice. Yep, okay, that's 3 successes. Has Antonio taken any pains to make sure that that he looks human, or is he quite pale? Is he breathing? Is he blinking?
Um, Limey will notice that the man's chest isn't really moving. Either he's not breathing or he's very good at taking breaths through his stomach and not really moving his chest. There doesn't. He seems to be very, very pale, um, even for a Hispanic man.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't think he'd randomly reach up and touch his face. So
No, of course not. It'd be a bit strange. Well, in that case,
he can tell there might be something off about him.
okay. Um, well, Limey will kind of tilt his hat on his head after glancing him up and down. He sort of gives a little smile. He says, "Sorry if I seem brusque, man. My name's Limey, or Rigby, if that's what you prefer." And he sticks his hand out to shake it.
He turns his head to the side. Like, I see. He returns the handshake. He returns it with about as much firmness as Rigby gives him. Like, you wouldn't happen to know he nods towards the boiler room. A Senor Peck, would you?
Limey kind of sort of chuckles to himself and nods. Yeah, I know Mr. Peck. We met last night, in fact. I had some business to discuss with him. Uh, and you're a friend of
Uh,
his.
yes, I am an associate. Different family, of course, but I am a. Well, we discussed some business between, well, between my group of associates and his group of associates.
Ah, I see, I see. Well, see, the thing is, my friend, if you have business with Mr. Peck, then there's every chance that I have some business with you. Uh, would you care to step somewhere a little bit more quiet so we could have a parley, a chat?
Yes, of course. You will follow Mr. Rigby.
Uh, Limey will sort of walk down the street and make idle conversation as he does, about goings on in the city and the weather, small talk, until they walk into he sees a quiet bar and he steps inside and seeing that there's some booths, he sort of goes and sits down in the corner and motions for Antonio to join him.
Um, Antonio looks around, um, making sure, as he did with Mr. Peck, that there's no one around. He's still not quite sure what if who this guy is, but if it's Rigby, it must be. It might be the same one. You never know. You never knows. There could be many Americans named Rigby. Uh,
But
he
how many of them know Mr. Peck, of course?
he sits down. He's like, well then, it seems we have a common acquaintance, Senor Rigby. He he very Spanishly rolls the R, and it sounds like he's not American, just like it looks. He
Yeah.
seems to be from some Hispanic country or something.
Uh, that's like in a similar fashion. Rigby he's spouting quite a thick Cockney accent. He's English, so he's not from around these parts either. But he kind of sort of clears his throat. So yeah, because we do have a common acquaintance. Uh, and well, you say your group of associates wanted to meet his group of associates. Does the word Camarilla mean anything to you?
He thinks for a second, uh, as if he doesn't quite know. It has to click with him. Um, in reality, it's because he pronounces the word differently than basically every other vampire in the city does. He's like, Camellia. Yes, I do know that word. It is very dear to my heart.
As it is to mine, Antonio, I can assure you. Well, I'm glad I ran into you, actually. I'm not sure if Mr. Peck would have mentioned anything about me or the nature of our business last night, but, well, let's just say uh, the city and our organisation within the city is in a little spot of bother at the moment. Uh, and he kind of leans forward on the table and drops his voice a little bit and he says, the Sabat have been making attacks on our territory.
And Antonio does not choke on a chip. He returns he returns the gesture. He leans in. He's like, yes, I do believe I spoke with Senor Peck about this. He did mention you along with some others. He was the first kindred aside from my associate in Senor Silas that I've really met.
Well, uh, then I'm happy for you to consider me as one of your new associates. You see, well, I've been sent by the hand of Clan Brugia, uh, myself and one other clanmate of mine, to look for kindred in the city. Kindred in the city who might have gone unnoticed, uh, or are particularly difficult to contact. Uh, we're sick and tired of being pushed around by the Sabbat, frankly. And, well, it's been proposed that we get together a war council of all of the active kindred within the city. So, as you can understand, I'm very pleased to have found you, Mr. Antonio.
He nods. Like, well, all I do know is there was one lady who I met as we were making friends with a few of the kind. Or no, he says yeah, he says kind. Like, I don't know if you would happen to know her. She said her name was Ghost. Miss Ghost.
Ghost is my friend that I mentioned, the one who is looking for other kindred in the city, under the orders of the hand of Clan Brugia.
I must apologize to her for seeming a bit rude. See, I cannot. My associates cannot afford to have our presence known to those outside of the Camarilla, and I had no way of knowing that she was loyal to the Torre. It would seem he says tower, although it's clear what he means,
Yeah.
unless he doesn't know the word Torre.
Torre, he's not familiar with it.
He looks. He's like, I believe you in English, tower, the tower of ivory.
Oh, I see. It's a metaphor. Yeah. Okay. Well, she is incredibly loyal. A member of the Camarilla in some good standing. Now, Antonio, it's over the next couple of days we're planning on holding this meeting, and your presence would be most appreciated, along with any other kindred you might know who you could ask to join us. If you would give me your contact details, I'd like to be able to get hold of you with the time and place of this meeting.
He pulls out a card. It's not a business card. It has a 10 digits scrawled on it. So this is uh, my number. You can reach me at. I have three other associates, I believe, who may be interested in such a meeting.
Uh, would you care to divulge the name of these associates? I might have already gotten to them.
Well, there's a Miss. He seems to have trouble with the name.
Sheridan?
Miss Sue. I don't know her full name. I can't pronounce it. Sue Crane. Um, um, and Senor Jueves. No, sorry, Senor Thursday.
Uh, Senor Thursday. Well, I haven't heard of either of them. What clan are they from?
He smiles. Well, it's a good thing we are not very prominent. I hear there are other forces outside of the Camarilla that wish to see us exterminated. I am from Clan Tremere.
There's Tremere in the city. Good, good. Always good to have the Tremere around when the Sabbat start knocking on your door.
He looks around. Well, to anyone outside of the Camarilla, no, there are no Tremere in the city. There are certainly not four.
I wouldn't dream of throwing around that kind of information, no matter what clan you were from. But uh, perhaps if you could tell them about our little meeting, possibly. And he seems to pat his pockets and choose which phone he might pick out. But he pulls out a phone uh, and writes a number down on a piece of paper. He was like, perhaps if you could tell them about our little meeting and maybe give them this. And he slides the number across the table. Should they wish to get in contact with me?
Yes, of course. I will be certain to do that. We have made an rewind. I made an understanding with Senor Peck of the same type as well. We discussed the state of the city and how the unique talents and skills of my clan can be used to root out the Sabbat.
Now, well, your talents and skills have a reputation, of course. However, when I say we're proposing a war council, I don't necessarily mean we're going to go down to Staten Island and start all guns blazing. Right now, I believe, and Mr. Peck agreed with me, that our best course of action would be to use our influence on Staten Island, get as much information about the Sabbat as possible, attack their holdings, and then when we've weakened them, when we've pinned them down, that's when we deal the killing blow, Mr. Antonio. And he says the last sentence with a flourish before slumping back into his chair and looking a little bit more miserable again.
Yes, of course. There are many more ways to go after someone than just themselves. After all, the pocketbook is a viable means as well.
The pocketbook.
Like you said, the holdings and what their
Of course.
influences are.
Well, Mr. Antonio, might I take your number so that I can get in contact with you if I ever need to?
He points to the card he slid
Oh, of
over on the
course, yeah.
table.
Sorry, rewind. You gave me a card. Yeah, no, what? Didn't say that. Yeah, sort of taps the card and he says, well, should I ever need to get hold of you, then I'll ring this number. And of course, as soon as we've established the time of the meeting, I'll be sure to let you know. It should be within the next couple of days. You know, tomorrow night, hopefully.
Yes, of course. We need to reestablish the order of the Camarilla in this city. Order is what will save us.
We park our cars in the same garage, Mr. Antonio. I quite agree with you.
He looks a little puzzled at the metaphor. He's not the best at metaphors that aren't in his native language, but he can kind of guess that at what the meaning is. Like, yes, of course.
Okay. Well, as you can imagine, Antonio, I have an extremely busy night ahead of me. I've got a lot more people to find, but like I said, tell your clanmates that I'm around, and if they're around this evening, then please please do tell them that if they wish to, they can get in contact with me. He stands up and he buttons his suit jacket, and he sticks his hand out for Antonio to shake.
Antonio stands and returns the gesture, again with the same firmness he's given. He says, "Until next time we meet, then, Senor Rigby."
Until the next time we meet, Antonio. And he turns and strolls away from the bar.
Antonio will smile a bit, and think about, well, this will certainly be good for the clan and the casa. He he can't even hide his big grin as he leaves the bar. And
Well, I will end the scene there.